Thanks for making us part of your night. I'm Tim McGonigal. First at 5:30, groups seeking to qualify initiatives for Montana's November ballot have until next month to collect thousands of signatures they need. But the COVID-19 emergency has forced them to change their tactics. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on how things have changed.
Every 2 years, signature gatherers fan out across Montana, seeking signatures on petitions to place proposed initiatives on the general election ballot. But this year, those signature drives look far different than in the past. On Thursday, signature gatherers for New Approach Montana were on Helena's Walking Mall, asking for support for Initiative 190 and Constitutional Initiative 118, a pair of measures to allow recreational marijuana in the state.
Sir, would you like to sign our petition to legalize adult-use cannabis?
Those collecting signatures wore masks, and those who signed used individually sealed pens.
We try to do a contactless initiative signing as much as possible.
New Approach is planning to bring on 200 signature gatherers and train them all in health guidelines.
We're going to follow the governor's directives to the very close detail, but we're still going to go out there and get our signatures.
Taking all of these additional steps makes qualifying a ballot measure a more expensive proposition. And not every group supporting a proposed initiative has the resources to do it. MT Cares is backing Initiative 187, which would require utility companies to get more of their electricity from renewable sources.
Basically, we're doing this on a shoestring with a bunch of retired folks.
The group stopped gathering signatures in person because many of their volunteers are in high-risk groups. They asked the Montana Secretary of State's office to rule that they could accept signatures by mail if the signature gatherers included a signed declaration. The Secretary of State agreed to allow it.
You shouldn't have to risk a fatal disease in order to petition your government and exercise your constitutional right to do that.
New Approach has also started using that method. Both groups say they're optimistic they can still get their measures in front of voters. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
A standard initiative must get more than 25,000 valid signatures to qualify for the ballot. A constitutional amendment must get more than 50,000. Committees have to submit all their signatures by June 19th. A new Montana law that limits the collection of absentee ballots cast by other people has been temporarily blocked by a state judge's order. That order came in a lawsuit filed by Montana's Indian tribes, who say the law violates the voting rights of Native Americans. State District Judge Jessica Fear of Billings issued a temporary restraining order on Wednesday, blocking the law known as the Ballot Interference Prevention Act. The law, passed by Montana voters in 2018, says organizers can collect only 6 absentee ballots at a time and must sign a special form when delivering those ballots to county election offices. 5 Montana Indian tribes and 2 other groups are suing to overturn the law. They say it essentially halts ballot collection efforts for Native voters, both on and off the reservations. The suit says the Native Americans often have poor access to voting offices or mail and instead rely on people delivering their absentee ballot. Marcy McLean of Montana Native Vote says the group will start reactivating ballot collection efforts right away for Montana's June 2nd primary and contacting its several thousand members. But she says with COVID-19 restrictions on reservations, it may take a few days to get things going there.
Here in Billings, we're going to start texting people and setting up appointments to pick up ballots or drop or give people a ride or whatnot. But that won't happen on the reservations until we have an agreement with the tribal nations saying that they allow us to go back in and resume ballot collection activities.
Judge Fear set a hearing for next Friday on whether to grant a permanent injunction blocking the law while she decides whether it's unconstitutional. Well, another round of campaign fundraising numbers came in today in Montana's U.S. Senate race, and Democratic Governor Steve Bullock continues to pile up the cash. Bullock, who is challenging Republican incumbent Senator Steve Daines, reported raising $2.4 million in the past 6 weeks for his campaign. That's almost twice Daines' total during the same period of $1.3 million in campaign donations. The Bullock-Daines matchup will be one of the most closely watched and expensive U.S. Senate races in the country this year. Since entering the race on March 9th, Bullock already has raised close to $6 million. Daines, however, has raised about $9 million for his entire campaign and still had $5.7 million left in the bank as of last week, compared to about $4 million for Bullock. Both men also have contested primaries on June 2nd, but are expected to easily win and advance to the general election. Well, work continues tonight to clear a massive rock slide just north of Craig along the Missouri River. Take a look. Large rocks still blocking both lanes. Crews are filling truck after truck. They've had U.S. Highway 91, also known as Recreation Road, shut down in this area since early this morning. Crews hope to have it all cleared by 7 or 8 tonight. If not, they'll be back at it first thing in the morning. Well, a tornado touched down in Valley County last night. Our Storm Tracker weather team is standing by to tell us more. Grant Garland joins us now. Grant?
Yeah, Tim, we had an EF0 tornado touchdown in Valley County, and it was very brief. We were able to see, though, the damage of 2 houses. First off, we had a carport that was damaged, and then we also had a boat that was slung 100 feet away from its previous position. Now, this tornado moved roughly around 3 miles before it went back up, but this all happened due to that line of powerful thunderstorms that rocked our world last night. Thankfully, nobody was hurt from what I understand, so that's the good news there. The real thing that we're talking about today, besides the tornado confirmed last night, is our winds. I mean, we're seeing 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Cut Bank, 53 in Great Falls, and I mean, it's just howling outside. And unfortunately, we are going to continue to see windy conditions for the next several hours. Now, taking a look at radar, we aren't looking at any major concerns, just a few light showers making their way right now towards Glasgow, but the good news is the rain showers, they are on the downward trend. Later in the show, we'll talk about how much rain we received over the last night's storms. Tim?
All right, thanks, Grant. Cascade County officials continue to care for animals seized from a property near Sun Prairie earlier this month. Pamela Jo Polieski faces 1 count of aggravated animal cruelty and 4 counts of animal cruelty. The Cascade County Attorney's Office has also filed an animal welfare petition. Sheriff Jesse Slaughter showed MTN some of the animals taken from her property after a fire on May 6th. Court documents say a search warrant found dozens of animals in various stages of abuse and neglect. Polieski is disputing all the charges and claims she operates a no-kill shelter that takes animals who are already in bad health. Sheriff Slaughter says this is the 2nd major animal abuse case in the county this year after officials asked for the public's help caring for neglected livestock in April.
Previously with the cattle situation, we had to act fast and get public support because in 1 day we could have eliminated that budget. In this case, what we want to do is we want to basically use our county budgeted funds first and then determine at that point if this case is going to take longer, then we're going to reach out to the community for support.
Polieski will appear before Judge Greg Pinsky next Tuesday, May 26th at 11 a.m. The hearing is open to the public. The animals could be put up for adoption pending results from the animal welfare hearing. We'll have more on this case coming up tonight at 10. Well, counterfeit money isn't a novel concept, and as more businesses begin to open, they should be on the lookout for fake funds. Detective Corporal Nathan Casey for the Helena Police Department said influxes of counterfeit money come in waves and can be easily detected with a few simple tips. But it's not just the big bills that people should be worried about.
We see 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s. We see all of them. So it's not just the larger bills. We've seen a pretty steady number of all of them. 20s seem to be the most frequent this year, but that can change from any given time.
And Casey also noted the Secret Service has free tools for helping spot different counterfeit bills, and that information can be found on our website. Glacier County has been awarded more than $20,000 in federal funding to help deal with the impacts of COVID-19. The money will supplement emergency food and shelter programs in the county. Over $12,000 is from the CARES Act funding, with more than $8,000 coming from a program called Phase 37. The breakdown of that award is over the executive director for the Opportunities Incorporated says this money comes at a crucial time.
There's a definite need. I think we can all relate to the different impacts that this COVID-19 has had, whether it's from individuals being furloughed, not having as much work, facing some crises within their own households. Definitely, I think this time it's highly needed in our area.
For those wishing to apply, they have until 5 p.m. on Wednesday, May 27th. We also have details on eligibility qualifications on our website. Montana's Office of Public Instruction has announced the formation of 2 task forces to provide feedback and guidance on how to open the 2020 2021 school year. One group is the Montana Learn 2020 Task Force. It's made up of students, parents, and educators to assess what resources families and educators need to be successful. The Montana Flex 2020 Task Force is made up of school administrators, education associations, and the Board of Public Education to review state and federal rules that need updating to provide schools with more flexibility. These two committees will meet 4 times through Zoom in May and June to draft guidance to the Office of Public Instruction. OPI will issue guidance this summer for a comprehensive approach to opening the new school year in the fall.
Well, we know education has continued since COVID. So we want to learn, and that's one of the task force, Montana Learn 2020. We want to learn from the impacts of COVID on the instructional model, making sure that students are focused and put in the very center of this dialogue.
And OPI will take in any comments or questions from the public as well. Dog kennels have had a rough time as a result of stay-at-home directives, but they're hoping to claw their way back into the black. The story is next.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's news leader.
Welcome back. As more businesses are reopening, dog kennels that offer long-term care are still seeing a decline in business with some travel restrictions that have been in place. MTN's Sam Hoyle takes a look at 2 Helena kennels that are doing what they can to make it through.
With many people working from home and travel grinding to a halt all across the country, dog kennel owners are slowly working their way back from the depths.
For the most part, 50% of our business was boarding, which is half of our revenue, and we lost it overnight, which it's been steady for 4 years straight. We've been full with a wait list, so that was pretty impactful.
Mackenzie Holman, owner of Sky High Kennels in Helena, said she and her husband worked on the facility during the shutdown, and now as Montana is making its way through the phases of reopening, Holman says she's seeing more dogs come in to use the daycare service, but in terms of long-term boarding, it's been slow to get back to normal.
Now that we're reopened, we're seeing a lot of our regulars back, which is really exciting, and we're starting to get new customers, which is fabulous, but we're still not seeing the boarding or the numbers we were seeing beforehand.
At Canine Condo in the valley north of Helena, Jackie and Steve Sampson echoed Holman's sentiment. As daily life begins to reemerge, business is slowly picking back up, and in their eyes, they think they'll emerge from this shutdown stronger than ever.
For the future, I'm going to believe that we're going to be better. I think things will get better for our business. So we're just going to hope, and with good thoughts, that things will keep improving and less people will be sick.
In Helena, Sam Hoyle, MTN News.
Well, it's been a windy afternoon, and we're going to continue to see that throughout the evening. Stay tuned to my forecast coming up right after this break.
Well, Glacier National Park plans on reopening in early June. Park officials tell us that they continue to work with the state, Flathead and Glacier County officials, as well as the Blackfeet tribe on when to open the park. Glacier National Park closed March 27th out of concern for coronavirus. As of right now, the park will not open on June 1st when Phase 2 of Montana reopens. However, officials say the park is on track to open in early June with limited access and visitor services. Grant, when they do officially open, it's not as windy up there as we've seen in our neck of the woods.
I know, right? I would love to go, but I'm still going to give it a few weeks to be able to do so. So we have a confirmed EF0 tornado that touched down last night just a few miles east of Glasgow, and this tornado tracked it with the EF0, winds up to 80 miles an hour, was on the ground and traveled for 7 miles, but again, it was very brief, and it did some damage too, not only to a carport, but it also flung a boat 100 feet away from where it was originally positioned. Now, here is a photo right now of this carport. I mean, you can see the damage there. This was provided by the National Weather Service in Glasgow, and this was around 9:15 last night that tornado rolled through, and it was here and then it quickly left. That warning, it was only there for a couple of minutes. We were going to cut in, but it was already up by the time we got ready. So, I mean, that's how quickly that was. So peak wind gusts today. Moving on, this is the big story. We're seeing 53 mile per hour wind gusts here in Great Falls, 58 in Cut Bank, and down towards Bozeman, 41 miles an hour, 33 in Jordan, 36 in Glasgow, 45 miles an hour in Lewistown. And with our current winds, we're seeing sustained winds out of the west at 32 miles an hour here in Glasgow. So very breezy. You can hear the wind howling here in the studio, seeing almost 40 mile per hour winds sustained in Cut Bank. And let's see, anything that I also, well, 24 miles too. That's pretty substantial as well in Lewistown. So taking a look outside though, I mean, it's definitely a brighter day than yesterday. So that's the good news there. Great Falls, 60 degrees, really nice out. Lewistown too, 63 degrees. Love the contrast, by the way, of the brown and the blue. Looks beautiful. Fort Benton, 63, and Helena, 61, with mostly cloudy skies for you all. Elsewhere, we're seeing temperatures a little bit, let's see, cooler up in Cut Bank, 51 degrees, 55 in Havre, out towards Glasgow, 63. Now today's high in Great Falls, we reached 60. The average is 66. Does not beat, though, 93-degree temperatures set back in 1980. Very, very warm that year. That was also the year that Friday the 13th came out. Gave me nightmares as a kid. Oh well, what can you do? As looking at the last 3 hours, we've been looking at really kind of cloud cover dispersing here in Great Falls. Really nice. Cloud cover still up towards the north. We are looking at a few showers right around Havre, making their way out towards Glasgow. So why are we looking at the weather we are today? Well, it's because this cold front that will continue to slide past Great Falls by around 9:30 tonight. Notice how we do have a few showers still out and about towards the capital by that time. As the cold front quickly leaves us in its wake, we're going to be looking at mostly sunny skies tomorrow morning. Waking up, it will be nice. Moisture stays off towards the west and also towards the south, allowing for us to see a mostly sunny day. Tomorrow will be really nice. Then Saturday hits and we're going to have another chance for showers, and it's going to be looking at not a washout, but we could get a few hundredths of an inch of rain possibly. Since midnight, Great Falls received over half an inch of rain. Towards Cut Bank, just shy of 0.8 of an inch of rain, and for Helena, just shy of 1/10 of an inch of rain. So a lot of rain has fallen. Thankfully, tomorrow we are expecting for it to be dry, but another windy day here in the Electric City. Chance of showers on Saturday again. By Sunday, partly sunny skies. Memorial Day, partly sunny. Temperatures 75 will be a nice warm day. Tuesday, though, we're going to have another system come back in, bring with it a chance for showers and thunderstorms. And for Helena, too, tomorrow will be another windy day. Looking at showers on Saturday. For Memorial Day, though, Tim, looks to be partly sunny, 70 degrees.
Thanks a lot, Grant. Well, a Helena woman is the proud owner of a shiny new set of wheels, and it's for a great cause. We'll explain when the news continues.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 530 News continues on Montana's News Leader.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has led many businesses to change their business model or products to help their fellow Montanans. Red Ants Pants in White Sulphur Springs delivered their first shipment of medical gowns this week to their local critical access hospital, Mountain View Medical Center. In late March, the Workwear for Women company began receiving requests to pivot manufacturing efforts towards providing cloth, face coverings, and other PPE for frontline workers in rural communities. Collaborating with Bear Paw Outfitters Manufacturing in Billings, Red Ants Pants is now prioritizing PPE for rural healthcare facilities from Hamilton to Plains.
This is classic Montana. We're all pretty good at being neighbors here, and that's just what we're doing on a business scale, really. It's when we have the equipment and the connections and resources to be able to pitch in, that's just what we're all honored to be able to do.
Now, Red Ants had to cancel their yearly music festival this summer due to COVID-19. They're currently investigating other ways they can help rural communities across Montana with smaller events when it's safe to do so. Last week, Special Olympics Montana drew a winner for the MTN Chevy truck raffle this afternoon. That lucky person collected their prize. Helena's Karen Moyer and her family stopped by City Motors in Great Falls to pick up a brand new 2020 Chevy Silverado. Moyer's son Ben is a Special Olympics athlete for the Capital Bruins and earned a $100 prize for selling the winning ticket. The family is disappointed the state summer games were canceled due to COVID-19, but a brand new truck is a nice consolation prize.
It couldn't have been just a better gift. We're truly blessed. Last year was Ben's first year in Special Olympics, and it was just such an incredible experience for our whole family. So this is just like, right, the cherry on top, right, buddy?
And all total, the raffle sold over 87,000 tickets, more than $472,000 for Special Olympics Montana. We'll be right back with the final check of weather.
For the next 12 hours, we're going to be looking at temperatures around 48 degrees by 9 p.m., mostly cloudy skies, but things should break apart for a mostly sunny start to our morning at around 8 a.m., 41 degrees. And in Helena, we're going to be looking at temperatures around 9 p.m., 53 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, again breaking apart by 6 a.m. for a beautiful day, looking at 40 degrees at 6 a.m. Should be nice.
All right, well, mannequins dressed in clown hats and other fancy clothing took their seats in restaurants in Lithuania's capital today. And they're doing that to coax real customers back after coronavirus lockdown helped them out with some social distancing. The restaurant owner said he came up with the idea when he reopened his cozy restaurant in Vilnius's Old Town and saw how empty it looked. After first considering sitting teddy bears and dolls at the empty tables, he decided to enlist fashion designers and boutique stores to show their products. So they're using dummies to make sure people aren't dummies.
It's kind of scary, though.
It's kind of creepy. That's all the time we have. We'll see you back here at 10.